To my right, of course, is our editor, Politics and Economy, Navika Kumar, with us. Navika, thanks for coming. Swaminathan Iyer of the Economic Times. To his left, Sitaram Yechuri of the CPIM. Kapil Sibal of the Congress Party is with us. Joining us on the satellite link is Rahul Bajaj is with us. And we also have Arun Jaitley joining the debate this evening. Thank you very much, Mr. Jaitley, Mr. Bajaj, Mr. Sibal, Mr. Yechuri, Swaminathan Iyer. First of all, thanks for making this a regular feature because our viewers want an informed debate, even if it is after the interim budget and not the primary budget. Now, so let me begin by asking you, Mr. Iyer, to reiterate the point you made this morning about the opportunity loss, etc.
No, to put it dramatically,
Yes.
this was the mother of all anticlimaxes. I found that during the budget, I was feeling a little sleepy myself, and I was gratified to see several members of parliament nodding off as well. I think it summed up the fact that there was the feeling that there is this huge thing that may happen. Here is an interim budget coming on the 90 days before an election campaign starts, that maybe this will be the kick-off point for that election campaign. What one had forgotten is that the election campaign actually has to be kicked off by Sonia Gandhi, and perhaps it would be wrong for Mukherjee to steal her thunder in advance. So I suspect that is one of the factors why this was completely bland. There was no putting forward of Pranab Mukherjee as a candidate for anything whatsoever, because that has been a dangerous procedure in the past. And therefore we had absolutely a straightforward, bald narrative, a straightforward vote on account.
Mr. Sibal, was Ms. Swaminathan and some of us flawed in our expectation?
Well, I personally think that sometimes, huge climaxes lead to heart attacks. So I would suggest that it might be just an inappropriate expression in this context. But anyway, be that as it may, I think that you've really misunderstood the whole purpose of the exercise, and the finance minister explained it on the floor of the House. He said it would be improper. He said it would be an act of impropriety if I went and decided as to what the budget should be when a new government is going to be formed in a few months' time. And therefore he went and he said, in that context, let me tell you, what are the two possibilities in a budget that he could have done? He could have taken some fiscal measures, right? Some tax measures, some reduction of taxes. It would never have been passed because people would have said in Parliament, look, this government is going because there is an election coming.
But where was the propriety issue, Mr. Sibal?
Well,
when on
this
the
is the
eve
view,
of
one second,
the
this
budget,
is the view of the government.
No,
It
on
is
the eve
our
of
view.
the budget session, there were some duty cuts that were announced in newsprint and other items. That happened just on the eve of the parliament session.
That's not
some
correct
FDI
either.
changes
No,
were
that's
made
also
just
not correct.
in a few days before that.
That's not entirely correct. These FDI changes are never made on the floor of the House in a budget speech, as you know that. This has always been done when the Parliament is not in session. Right? And so it is not improper of us to have done this outside Parliament and not sort of announced it in the budget. But let me tell you the fundamental question. It would be highly politically improper, and Parliament would have not passed the budget if we were to have made, as he said, we have to take political advantage of the situation and proposed a budget for the election. People would have said you are playing politics with the budget.
No, one view was, and let me take Mr. Jaitley. Let me just get a sense of whether Mr. Jaitley agrees with you. Secondly, Mr. Jaitley, had the government today taken some steps which it would have said would have been aimed at stimulating confidence, improving sentiment, encouraging spending, would you have accused the government of impropriety?
Well, I think the Congress has got into the habit of making a virtue out of every disaster or every failure. Last week they attempted to change the FDI policy even when the elections are knocking on the doorstep. But today they say we couldn't have done anything extraordinary because elections are knocking on the doorstep. Now let me tell you, these are extraordinary times. We are in the midst of an economic crisis. Therefore, every economic decision that the government takes must be aimed in the direction of adding some kind of a stimulus to the economy. The government just can't come out with a document which is least inspirational, which lacks basic direction, and which shows that the government is living in denial about the existence of the crisis itself. I think it's become a feature of this government, one, to live in denial, two, to just realize that by just sending self-congratulations, a problem can be solved, and three, do nothing, let the problems resolve on their own.
Right. Okay. Now that is one way of looking at it. You see, this was a different time.
Oh, incidentally, and
this
it
was
is
this
Mr.
was a
Jaitley.
different expediency.
Arnab,
That's
Mr. Jaitley is living in denial. If you really look at the allocations made in this budget, even in the vote of account, you see the kind of investment that we are making in the social sector. Just look at any sector, 30,000 crores. 30,000 crores, 13,000 crores in Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, 49,000 crores in national...
those are in schemes you have already expanded.
But that's where the stimulus is going to come from. Because incidentally, the sanctioned Jawaharlal Nehru Yojana, sanctioned schemes are 39,000 crores today.
Sure.
Now the spending will start and you will see the stimulus in the economy.
No, what are you looking for, Mr. Yechury? I see you nodding your head violently at everything that Kapil Sibal is saying. What would you have wanted from him?
You see,
would you have wanted him to say, we will bring down rates, for example?
No, you see,
or we will have some kind of an insurance scheme for the unorganized sector. Would you have left?
We have a national
No. You see, first of all, please understand that yes, nobody expects any fresh tax proposals or revenue collection proposals in a vote on account. Okay, I mean let's be clear. What the government can do is to allocate what it already has collected, what is there in its kitty, and where these allocations would go. Number two, in an interim budget, it's perfectly possible for the government to suggest that these are the extra allocations that are necessary and leave it to the next government to decide how these extra expenditures would be either monetized or extra revenue will be raised through new taxes. That is the decision of the next government. And please remember, Bush left behind a budgetary deficit of more than $1 trillion for Obama.
True.
And Obama came in and he's now increasing it further. I mean, okay, that is their decision. But the point is, it's not that it cannot be done. It could have been done.